Everybody, thanks for listening to The Rundown with Ramon. My name, ironically, is Ramon Ray, and I'm so glad you're here with us today on The Rundown with Ramon, hosted by Black Enterprise, where my job, is to do two simple things: help you live your life better, whatever that may mean for you, and or ideally, because that's near and dear to my heart, help you grow or start your business. So welcome to The Rundown with Ramon on this beautiful, fantastic day outside today. And I'm with my new friend, Alexandra. Welcome. I hope your day is pleasant and well as can be. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me today. I'm so excited to be here.
You're welcome. And I'm excited too. I'm excited to unpack. Alexandra, right off the top, give us your full name of your business, and just right at the top for those people that are real fast, how we can reach you and why we may want to reach you. Just start right off there. Who are you today?
Yes, let's get right into the thing. So my name is Alexandra Bernard Simmons. I'm the founder of Think Like a Boss NJ. Think Like a Boss basically helps you become the CEO of your life and take back control. Okay. So we kind of help people with their business. We help them with health and wellness, finances, relationships. We take women on retreats all around the world. We have school programs. We go into homeless shelters for people who are there who felt they were left behind. So we are, very important to our community, especially a community of color. So one of the things that I definitely specialize in today is kind of linking the importance of entrepreneurship and mental health and
Mm,
spirituality, right? Sometimes we do not understand that the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So we need to make sure that look at that face. We need to make sure that these entrepreneurs understand that the way that you feel inside will reflect and manifest in your business. So that's one of the main things that I do focus on when I do consult with my clients.
I love that. And one more time, I think you gave it already, but one more time, give us your website as well. So as we're having this discussion, people can be checking you out.
Yeah, so make sure you go to the website, which is ladythinkboss.com. And you can always reach me on Instagram at thinklikeabossnj.
I love it. I love it. So Alexandra, let's dive into it. My curiosity is Think Like a Boss like the YMCA? Is it like Ernst and Young? Is it like none of the two? Give us a sense of, because you do a few different things and you do it one-to-one. It seems like consulting as well. So give us maybe three buckets. If you wish, you don't have to, but three buckets of, if you're like this may be for you. If you're like that, this may be for you, or all the things. Feel free to pour more into it.
Absolutely. So Think Like a Boss, we are an empowerment brand. We are an empowerment movement.
Got
So
it.
whichever way that you need to be empowered in your life, we make sure that we hit all of those different segments because we do forget that it's not all about money. It's not just about that business. Sometimes your business is failing because your relationship is failing at home. So that's why we try to make sure we empower the full individual within whatever they're trying to accomplish in this world. So when I think of Think Like a Boss, we are a community movement, right? It started for women because look, I am a woman and I know the struggles that we go through. But once I grew as a business owner and as a community leader, I
Mm.
realized that it's so important to encompass everyone because the kingdom is only running smoothly when the men and the women are together.
That is so true. That is so true. Well put. Well put. So help us understand, what was the journey that got you here today? Where were you 10 years ago, 20 years ago? Pick your pick and tell us some of those highlights. Where were you before maybe you had the business acumen, if you wish? But give us the story. I'm always curious, so our audience knows that, hey, the person you're seeing today, talking to Ramon and other amazing things you've done. I've read your bio. You've been all over, that maybe they weren't always this way, but I don't know. I'm learning with the Rundown with Ramon audience. Just so you know, Rundown with Ramon, some people do extensive interviews, and I know there's a side to that, but I like to learn with y'all. So Alexandra, the mic is yours. Talk to us about how you got here.
I love it. I love it. So I remember when Think Like a Boss came to me, like hit me like a ton of bricks. I
Mm,
was actually working in tech. So
okay.
a lot of people do not know my past life. I always say past life. I feel like a cat, like I have 9 lives. So many different amazing things happened in my life. But I was working in tech and I was making six figures before I was 25 years old.
Mm,
Tech will do that for you. But while I was there, my soul was dying
mm,
because I'm a creative. I'm a creative. I'm a professional dancer. Yeah, and I was living in this cubicle. So I was calling that time in my life death by cubicle. I'm
Mm,
like, I cannot, my soul is dying here. I'm supposed to be dancing on stage. I'm supposed to be, following my dreams as this entrepreneur. Like I wrote it in my yearbook. That's what I wrote in my yearbook as a senior, that I was going to
wow.
open my own dance school one day. And when that came to me, I was like, this is not what God has for my life. When you're given a talent, it's your job to make sure that you're giving that talent back to the world.
Mm,
So, I started sneaking out the job now. Now I'm, leaving early. I got a show at Madison Square Garden. I'm just doing all types of things. And I was building the dream while I was at the 9 to 5. And I
mm,
think that's very important for people to understand. If we need to use our jobs as our investors, right? We need to make sure we're funneling that money once you have that exit strategy now, that you're making sure that you're planning it properly, a more calculated risk, especially when
mhm,
you're an adult. So I did the things. I created my business while I was still working in technology when I had the funds to do so. And once that business, honey, it was making like 30,000. Once that dance school hit $30,000, oh, I'm out of here. We just gonna make it work, right?
you
And
bet on yourself, as a good friend of mine
I
says.
did. Yes, I bet
Yes.
on myself because I'm like, I know I can do it now. I know I can do it. And it was a big difference going from making 180, 190K to making 30,000. But
Mm,
I just knew that that's what I needed to do for my soul. I think some people forget that when we are living the life that is not made for us, we are ignoring the voice of our souls.
mm,
So it's very important to make sure your soul has a place to speak. And for me, that was always through dance and being a creative. So once I figured out how to become an entrepreneur. I was living a dream life. I was living my dream life.
mm.
I'm like, there's no reason why I should be the only one living my dream life. Like
Hello.
that's not how this works, right? And when you learn, you teach. When you learn,
Yes.
you teach. And I just knew so many women that, was just having so much turmoil in the life here. That here I was, a wife, a mother. I was a homeowner, but by the time I was 24, and now I had my own business. I was touring, dancing with Busta Rhymes. I'm like, this can't just be my dream.
Mm,
I know other people, have these dreams that they want to accomplish. So that's when Think Like a Boss was born. I remember, and I did it right at my alma mater in 2014. And so we were at St. Peter's University. I just had 30 people at that first event, okay? Just 30 people. But now, it grew to 400 to 500 people at each event year over year. We have Boss Tribe now in London. We have Boss Tribe in Toronto, Montreal, because I try to speak a little French, y'all. And,
bonjour.
just all over the nation because it's so important for us to be taught by someone who looks like us
Mm,
and is not giving untested advice.
yes.
I feel like that's so important. Like,
Yes.
I want to teach you because I've been there. I was
Yes.
you at one point. I didn't have anybody to teach me business. I failed. Like my first dance school, it was failing at first, Ramon, okay? Because I thought I love hip hop. I thought everybody loves hip hop.
Right.
So we're gonna learn about graffiti. We're gonna learn about the history. No one wanted to learn about that. That was just me, right?
Mm,
So it failed the first year. Like it failed, and I had to rebuild it and turn it into something else that appeared to the masses and not just for my love of dance and hip hop. And that's when I started getting that success. So to me, that first 30K was success. I could live
yes.
off of that
Yes.
30K.
That was your tuition too.
It was right. Exactly. It sure
Yeah.
was my tuition. So yeah, so Think Like a Boss really just brought everything together for the people that come to the event because it wasn't just the fact that I had a dream. It's because I had discipline. It's because I had
Mm,
motivation. It's because I knew how to deal with my finances. It's because I'm very spiritual. Yeah, I'm a Reiki practitioner. So this is the work that I've always been doing. So I know how to be spiritually inclined to
mm,
listen to my intuition. And when it says go, I know it's go time. Things like that. So these are all the things that we put together in our events to give people different tools to reach their goals because we have to understand some people aren't reaching their goals, baby, because they sad.
mm,
They are sad. And sometimes when you are sad, it's hard for you to get motivated to get to your next level.
mm,
So how can we clear out the soul first in order for you to understand that you deserve to follow your dream? So this is the type of empowerment that we do at Think Like a Boss.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm curious, what do you, so I'm going to ask you a question, Alexandra. Let me see how you answer this, because I know the rundown with Ramon audience. So you can't hear them because, see, you're not the host of the show, but I can hear them. I can hear them right now. I know what they're saying. Here's what they're saying. Here's what somebody's saying. Becky is saying this. John is saying this. But Alexandra, you don't know my journey. You had success early. You didn't go through what I went through. My mama abused me. My daddy abused me. My uncle said I was fat. My guidance counselor said I was stupid. I grew up in poverty. You got it made. You were just born that way. You were whatever, you get my point, whatever. What do you say to that person that has the reality of, and they generally did, life dealt them a deck of bad cards. They're in their dead-end job. They're trying, they're failing, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure you get what I'm asking. Talk to that person, any version of that person, please.
So one thing that I try to explain to people, especially my events, guys, that's why I love when people come see me face to face, because we're going to talk about it. Okay. We have to understand that sometimes our success is actually a defense mechanism. And let me explain that. Because everyone has a story, and we are more alike than we are different. So when I was in my 20s and I was able to land a job like that, what you were looking at was ultra independence. What you were looking at was a child that had to plan everything out because no one was there to help her. Or you were looking at was a fighter because I had to fight off a molester at one point in my life. So we don't know what the cards were at sometimes when you see someone's finished product. Okay. But sometimes our cards are so similar. The difference is that right now I understand that my story is the key that can unlock someone else's prison. So that's why I do what I do. And that's also the underlying fact of Think Like a Boss. Like, I'm coming here with a story. And sometimes my favorite story is when I get on that stage, as some people don't know, the reason why I bring it back to my alma mater, St. Peter's, the one reason why I'm so proud that my son is going to St. Peter's is because I gave birth to my son at St. Peter's. I was a college student. So now you're looking at it.
I didn't know that was coming.
You ain't know that was coming. You ain't know that was coming.
I kept a straight face though. See, I kept a straight face.
So
beautiful.
The stories, honey, we're more alike than we are different. So I want to hear those stories. I want to help you figure that out because I was there. And just like I got myself out, that's why I said earlier about that untested advice. I'm giving you tested advice.
I love that. And I love what you said about untested advice. Me, the various things I've done as an event producer, for example, not for hire, but meaning do my own events. You can't tell me you don't know how to do a stage. You don't know how to get food, how to get lighting, photography. I've been there. I've done the photo, done it, not done it, dropped the light, didn't drop food, catering. You know what I mean? So somebody says marketing event. Yeah, I've done a whole stack of marketing. So I love that. Untested versus tested advice, because there's tested advice, there's untested advice that comes more academic, which you read in the book, went to school, and that's great. But you, Alexandra, myself in different capacity have done it, or as my friend Amelia says, have the receipts to prove it.
The receipt, yes.
Yes. Talk about the growth stages of your business as it is today. And what I mean is that, can you walk us through a few of the milestones, maybe, and you can pick whichever one you want. I have plenty of time, but sometimes people talk about maybe their team is a linchpin to it. I hired this person, now we have 5, or maybe it's funding. Did you have to get any funding for your business? Or maybe there's a secret you can share about marketing. If you understand the business aspects of it, I'm curious, give us a few milestones, how it was, and then to what made it today. And I'd be curious to know how that path happened from when 2014, of course, when you started, but what it's like a few years later today.
Absolutely. So when I think about when I started my business, it's kind of like if you build it, they will come, right? And I was trying not to stress so much about, that first audience of 30. And to me, one of the biggest things that I was able to do, or one of my milestones, was just really becoming that community leader and that influencer. to having, 1,000 followers to now, 50,000 followers. And really just doing that by going out there and meeting the people.
Mm.
I know a lot of people right now, they try to focus on just the social media aspect of everything, but sometimes we forget that people sell to people. So one of my biggest, right, one of my biggest milestones was that time when I really realized, like, oh my goodness, I am known out here. Like
Hmm.
they know the girl. Like, it's kind of like, and it's funny because when you build a brand, which is very important, it's one of the things that I'm kind of a guru of, is they don't even call me Alexandra. Like, oh my God, this is like here. I'm like, look, that means I did my job, baby. I did my job. If y'all was just calling me, the Think Like a Boss girl. So I think that was one of my biggest milestones when I started to see my work just being recognized before I entered a room.
Mm.
Right. So that was one. I think my second biggest milestone, because I'm so big on affirmations.
Mm.
I make sure that I repeat the affirmation until it comes.
Mm.
And I remember I kept saying, I'm going to be international brand. I'm going to be international brand. So for me, when I, bust through the door, and I always say like that, because that is how I operate. I bust through doors. And when I bust through the doors
I'm
in
getting a sense that that's true. I can't see you kind of like, I'm sorry. Would you like me to sit by the side of the road until you're ready? I'm sorry, I've
right.
been
And
waiting.
sometimes
I
you
just
need
don't I
that.
don't get a feeling that's you. I don't nah, not
Straight Aries female energy. I'm gonna bust through that door. And when I did that in London, it was just like, oh, I really can't explain it. It was kind of like I was floating, right?
mm,
It's like you're just floating through your purpose, and everything is just so easy because you allowed it to happen, right? So you're in such an alignment phase of your life. And it was such a milestone when I'm talking at the, Black Museum in Brixton, London, right?
mm,
And then come to find out our struggles are the same. That's why I always say every Black community is my community. And that's what brought me to London. I'm like, our struggles are so similar. So now that we have a boss tribe here, now that I can go there to work, I have a co-working space there that I frequent, right? That was such a milestone for me. And I was like, yo, I'm just unstoppable at this point. And that's why I always tell people, like, you have to take the vision as far as your dream. Like, do
mm.
not cap your vision. And that's why those affirmations are important. You have to believe it on a cellular level first. Yeah.
Wow. I'm always learning something new in the rundown with Ramon. That was a new one right there. Wow, wow. I'm going to attribute that to you for the first 25 times I use it. Then I'm just going to own it myself after I attribute it. I love it. I love it, Alexandra. And one more time, Alexandra, give us your full name, website, how we can reach you. We have a few more minutes, but I always like in the middle. Somebody could have skipped through. So for that person, right, you who skipped through and like, who am I talking to? This is your moment. Listen, Alexandra, hit us. Talk to us.
Yes, this is your girl, Alexandra Bernard Simmons, founder of Think Like a Boss. Please go on our website, www.actladythinkboss.com, or follow me on Instagram at Think Like a Boss NJ.
I love it. I love it. I'm going to get a bit political and ask you a political question.
Sure.
Here's the political question. It's a dirty word.
Uh-oh.
Pricing. In your ecosystem, you want to help the world. Is it like metaphorically? And I can talk more if it's not clear, but is the pen, is the t-shirt, is the coffee cup, is the tea bags, is the event, is it as low price as can be because Alexandra wants to help the world? Or is she going premium and using wealth to help others? And there could be another version of it, but those are two broad things that some people have told me. I'm curious what you advise people and your own world about pricing. Is that thing, you know what? Alexandra can't afford it. I know it. Everybody's selling it for $200. I'm going to sell it for $10. Or do you sell premium or some version of that pricing? What do you say about pricing?
I love your questions, Ramon, first of
Thank
all.
you.
I think that's a great question. And I used to struggle with this until I learned about the levels. Like there's levels, right? So it is very important for me to stay true to who I am and my
Mhm,
purpose. That's
mhm,
the integrity. I always say integrity is a road that you can follow that you will never, ever get lost, right? So with my events, I make sure they are affordable Because at the end of the day, if you had the residual income of $600 to come to an event, that means that you're not the person that I'm trying to speak to. You're not the person's life that
Hey,
I'm trying to change.
but let me just pause on something. So that was intentional, meaning you could decide, let me go high premium, but for whatever reason, which you may share or not. But my point is, you're saying, no, I want to change people who are at this level, and let me hear the rest of it. But that's powerful. So it's not even, you're reframing the question I asked, getting to the same answer, but I like how you reframed it. Please continue.
So, yes, I want to make sure that my events are affordable so I can reach the souls that I need to reach. And when I say there are levels, we have to understand that, and this is why I love helping my clients with their business plan, because it's not just B2C, it's not just to customers. I work with businesses, right? I work with different corporations and things of that nature. So that's who I charge those premium prices.
Absolutely.
Right? Those are the contracts that I go to. For example, I now teach at a business program at Montclair State University,
Mm,
right? They pay me good money.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
it's like you have to know who you're going to charge the big contracts for, and then who you that needs your services that you need to help,
Yeah.
right? So that's why I always tell my clients there are levels, and you have to know who you're going to charge different prices for different things that make sense.
I love that because I hear so many times in different circles that either of course there's people who just go cheap, 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 cheap. I'm trying to, hey, listen, you're not Walmart, you're not Kmart are the cheapest one, but then there's those, no, I don't adjust my pricing. They're usually lying to me. But I like what you said. And I feel the same way. I have large brands I work with. Yes, you're going to pay Ramon's full rate or close to it of his speaking fee. But I have no problem. Friends ask me, or my boy, my girl, somebody, whatever, because it's mutual. I would do for you, you do for me. I'll go there. Pricing we can get to later. So I feel happy. I feel that I'm not stupid,
Right.
because I do segment my pricing. If it's a large corporate brand behind it, we're just going to talk price. But if it's one of the people, let's see what's going on, how we can help each other. So,
And it's not just that too. I felt like I built such an umbrella business, right? That
mm,
was something that was also over time.
hmm,
Where we have now different facets of the business that are bringing monetary value in different ways, right? So when we talk about with the retreats, that's going to bring a great amount of income there. And then now I can charge $30 for the events. And then now, like you said, if I have a speaking engagement that I can charge, 5, 6 figures right
yeah,
there, that is supplementing my income there. Well, now I can go speak to the church for free, right? We have to understand how this works. There's so many different facets in business that you should be able to cultivate. So now you don't feel like you're trying to take advantage of the people that may need you the most.
I love it. Alexandra, anything I didn't ask you that you wanted to come across? And oh, by the way, I would love you to touch on your book or workbook. Please do talk about that, when it's coming out, or if we should get the first one or not. Feel free to take some space about that as well. That I'd love to know. Is there anything I didn't ask you? But please take the floor on that as well.
Yes, absolutely. So I have a new book coming out. Of course, it's called Think Like a Boss, 38 Ways to Build Your Brand from the Inside Out. Because I know if you guys are listening to me right now, you know the inside is just as important as the outside. This is my second edition of the book. So the first edition, it was just the tips. But this time, 6 years later, business is like technology, it's always changing, right? So I went in there, I changed some things around, I learned new things, so I had to add that in there. And I added new tips, but most importantly, now it's a workbook. So now you can apply the knowledge right away, right in the book. So now instead of just telling you how to write a business plan, now you have all the segments of a business plan, and I kind of walk you through it and you fill it out in the workbook, right? So it's just things like that that just makes it easier for the business owner, again, that may not be able to come to an event, that may not be able to, book me for one-on-one consultations, right? So that's what I mean by there are levels, right? So now there are different ways of even getting my services, because I'm really just writing everything that I know in this book for you,
Mm.
because I do not believe in hoarding information. I just don't. And I always understand that opportunities will come to me. So now you have all of my tools, tips, jewels, and all of that in a workbook, and it's going to be available this month.
I love it. I love it. And one more time, give us the website people should go to look at it, sign up for it, or make sure they're informed and on a list of some sort. Feel free one more time.
That is at ladythinkboss.com.
And people say, Ramon, why are you saying that so many times? Let me explain why. I think half of the world is like me. My wife can tell me, Ramon, I need to go get some walnuts and raisins. and I come back with water and ratchet set. That's just me. So therefore, repetition is important.
Repetition is key.
It is key. Alexandra, I'm so glad you spent time with us today. Oh, but is there anything I didn't ask you, anything you were thinking that you wanted to say? Feel free. And if not, feel free. I'd love to hear a last closing comment from you or anything I didn't ask. The mic is all yours.
You did great. You did great. These were great questions. You know, we got down to the things, and I was able to explain about myself and my purpose. So there's nothing else that we need to speak about here.
I appreciate it. Hey, everybody, this is Ramon Ray on The Rundown with Ramon. We bring amazing people like this to you, where we want to help you live your best life or help you start or grow your business. And if you want to reach out to me, feel free to go to RamonRay.com, DM me on Instagram, just Google me, find me in some way, but it's not Ramoncito, there's no Enye, it's just simply Ramon Ray. And this is The Rundown with Ramon with today, Alexandra.